Today's video is one of a three-part series that I'm going to do. It's on aging and how we feel about aging and what goes on in our life as we age. So if you're interested in what this process is, this process of aging is, and how it affects us all, stay tuned for part one of a part 3 series. You know, our life is made of 2 dates and a dash. So if you want to know how to make the best of that dash, stay tuned. So hi everybody, thank you for coming into my living room today. I was hoping to film this on a very sunny day because I'm going to make this very positive. Today is, like I said, the beginning of a 3-part series that I'm doing on how we feel about aging. And I did have a poll up on my community page, and I don't know how you see my community page. I think you can just see it when you go to my channel. But I had a little poll on there asking about how you feel about aging. Are you afraid to age, or you feel blessed? And about 76% that voted said that they feel blessed. And I'm grateful for that. There are some that are afraid. And this whole series was kind of prompted by one of my subscribers, who shall remain anonymous at her request. Her and I have been going back and forth for a while, and she is 78, and she is like the sweetest person ever, and she doesn't comment on anybody's reviews because she just doesn't want to. She doesn't feel comfortable. She doesn't really know what to say. She has her own thoughts, and she looks for inspiration and looks for things to make her feel better. She's having a really difficult time, and she sent me an email, and she said, "How in the world are you 76 and are positive without thinking about death? You're in your final journey of life. How do you not think about that? I can't function as a human because I'm always thinking about that." And I was like, whew, that set me back. Hi, sweetie. But you know what? We do change. Things do change as we get older. Our thoughts change. A lot of things change. Our bodies change. A lot of just different ways we look at things change. And I get it. I get it. And let me just read this for you really quick. This, I mean, whoever wrote this was genius. This came across my Facebook a while ago, and I had printed it. But this is, I'll start out with this. So listen to this. It says, when you are young, which is we, you don't think what you might be like when you are old. I was young once. To all my female friends from 40 years and up, most of us are going through the next phase of our lives. We're at the age where we see wrinkles, gray hair, extra pounds. We see the cute 25-year-olds and reminisce. But we were also 25, just as they will one day be our age. We aren't the girls in their summer clothes anymore. What they bring to the table with their youth and zest, we bring our wisdom and our experience. We have raised families, run households, paid the bills, dealt with diseases, sadness, death, and everything else life has assigned us. Some of us have lost those that were nearest and dearest to us. We are survivors. We are warriors in the quiet. We are women. Like a classic car or a fine wine, even if our bodies may not be what they once were, they carry our souls, our courage, our strength, 100%. We shall all enter this chapter of our lives with humility, grace, and pride over everything we have been through, and should never feel bad about getting older. It's a privilege that is denied by so many. Isn't that like great? Whoever wrote that, mwah, to you. Because it's true. Getting to this age, and thank you to all my posse who are joining me today in the living room, and thank you to all my new subscribers who have joined my posse. You all know that I'm speaking from experience. I am a 76-year-old, 76-year young woman who has a real zest for life, and I'm happy that you've joined my channel, because I'm here to show you how to be the best that you can be. If you've watched my videos and you've laughed and cried or whatever, you know that I am a very positive person, and I believe in a lot of different things in life that make me a positive person. And that said, you know, I remember those young days when I never thought that I would reach 76. I mean, I'm grateful, but I remember, this is gonna sound really weird to you, I remember like in my 40s and 50s, I used to leave notes when I'd put the Christmas tree away. This is kinda, and I would put all my ornaments away, and in the Christmas thing I would say, I love you, family, in case I'm not here next year, know that I will always love you. Go figure. But and here I am. You know, I wasted all that time thinking about it way back then, which was kind of ridiculous, because, and I guess my thought is, you know, to you, my sweet friend, you can't really think about your end. You shouldn't think about your end, because you don't know when your end is. And when you were born, you were given that date, and when you die, you're giving that date. Your dash in between is what you make of it, and the positivity that you give to other people, and inspires you to be a better person. I guess if I thought about way back then about when I was going to die, and thank gosh, I mean, what if we had a date when we were born? And it said, oh yeah, you're gonna die at 40, you're gonna die at 50. If we had that date given to us at birth, would you live your life any differently? How would you live your life? Would you be, give to the Lord? Would you be rebellious? Would you go, oh, I'm gonna die anyway? I mean, what would you do? I mean, it's a wonderful gift that we have been not given, is to have that date at the end, and when the end is gonna be. I don't particularly wanna know. It'll get here when it gets here, and I'll be back, and I'll be on here as the spirit talking to you. So, but you know, it is a privilege, and I can't say, and I said to her, I can't say that some days I don't get up and go, oh my gosh, you know, I'm closer to the end of my journey than I was before, but I might live to be 106. I could be on here like on the Smucker's jar. Remember the Smucker's, the Today Show that had, I can't remember his name. He had the jar of Smucker's, and the woman was like 116 and whatever, she was still alive. I'm gonna be on that Smucker's jar, you watch, I'm telling you. But you know, you live your life, and you live it the best you can, and like it says, you go through many things in life. You have challenges, you have grief. I've had them. I've had many traumas in my life. I've had bad marriages. I've had problems with my children, just like you know, and I was a tough love mom. You can ask my kids that. But you know what? I got through it, and I prayed a lot, and I don't know. I always believed in a positive light of things. Very rarely do I think, ooh boy, I feel really negative about this, you know. I don't know. I just don't, because you waste today. You waste it away. I mean, you have to live for today. You have to live for what God's given you today. If you don't, you've wasted a whole day. I mean, there's hours and hours and days, but you have to live for today. I mean, every hour is a new hour. Every day is a new day. And you can't think about what ifs. And I know that's really hard, but you really can't think about the what ifs, because it may never happen, and it may happen 10 years from now, and you have just wasted all your thought processes on what ifs. And I really tried to be extremely positive in a lot of things. There's a lot of things, you know, which will be in my other series. There's a lot of things like with your body changes, and you have to get through those changes, and they just happen. And there's financial changes, which is devastating, which you'll see in another series. And I think that's three of the major things as we age. We have to get past the feeling that this is the end of the journey, because it's not, it's the beginning. And we have to get past how our bodies change. And then we have to get past this whole downsizing and changing what we're used to and what we have. And they're just three really important facts of growing older that we need to get a grasp on. And of course, you know, like I told my friend, you know, if you're having a bad day, go put some makeup on. You know, oh, by the way, this review is brought to you by Gayle. This is Paula Young's Gayle today. So I figured I'd perk up a little bit today for you to show you that at 76, I'm positively wearing long hair. And you can do that too. And, you know, just, you know, give love to other people, make people happy. And you know, it's funny, because when you're kind to other people, it makes you feel like really kind and makes you really feel good about yourself. It gives you this positivity towards life. But if you're, you know, a real biddy to other people, you just kind of be a biddy to yourself. I mean, that's true. I used to be, when I was younger, in a circle of women who just talked and talked and go, oh my God, they were like the Valley Girls. Oh my God, did you see so-and-so, was her dress so tight? I don't know. I think her husband's cheating. Don't you? I think her husband's cheating. Oh, and you know, you find yourself, you're sitting in this circle with these people, mostly women, who just gossiping about friends of theirs, and you find yourself kind of like in the same circle, like, oh yeah, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know. And I used to go, how am I going to answer this? I'm friends with them. How am I going to answer them? And I thought, I'm not going to do that. That makes me feel rotten. It just, I can't. If they're talking like that about, you know, this person, they're talking that way about me. So I just moved on to other things. And you know, and then as your life gets older, you have a new circle of friends, and you raise kids, you know, with your circle of friends, and things become a little bit more pleasant for you. You talk about kids, you know, and every once in a while you'll say, that kid's a brat, but that's all right. But you know, you just have different circles of different people. And as you get older, you know, there's an expression like, oh, I'm older, I can say anything I want now, I can do anything I want. Psh, you know, back in the day, I would have never told them off, but boy, today, I can tell them what I think. You know, I don't want to be a old, crabby senior citizen. I find myself being nicer when I'm older, nicer to people, more respectful to people. Not that I ever wasn't respectful, but I'm much more respectful to people, I think, than I was even when I was younger. And I hold people longer. I kiss people longer. I look at my husband more dearingly than I did maybe 20 years ago, because I know our togetherness is important. And you know, you can't sit around the house and you can't sulk about death and about this is the end. You know, there's so many enjoyable things to do. I mean, there's, you know, when all else fails, go to CVS and buy some new makeup, you know, try some new eyeshadow. I mean, you know, try a new wig, you know, and come out of the box. I mean, even if it's for a couple of days, I mean, you'll feel good about yourself. You just gotta be positive. You just have to tell people you love them more. Tell them, be kind. I mean, you know, my grandson told me the other day, and I was just telling Kaye Carter, I just left her a message, but she had a beautiful dose of encouragement today. But I was talking to my grandson the other day about bullying, and he said, you know, Nana, he said, people that bully and try to hurt other people, they're not very happy themselves. And I'm like, bingo, hello social media. But it's true, you know, and he's such a good kid, and he there's kids maybe at school that he's not crazy about, but I don't think he ever treats anybody bad, because he says, you know what he says? He said it makes him feel worse. And I think that's part of growing older also, is not making yourself feel worse, because then it just drags you down into this frumpy person, and you just don't want to be that way. And you're never too old to start a niche. I mean, it's like if you're older, I have a couple of gals on here who are older and who are busy. My friend on here who won my giveaway, hi JB Sassy Senior, 68 years old and started her own business, which is becoming very successful. Now that's what I call getting up and doing something with yourself instead of sitting around the house. I mean, find something that you love. It's never too late. My father started his own company. My dad and us in life never owned a home. We rented. My whole life we were renters. And back in my day, it was nothing to rent an apartment. Nobody owned homes when I was growing up. And my dad was like 62 years old, and he was such a hardworking man for his family. I mean, and we got from Pennsylvania to Detroit because he had lost his job in Pennsylvania, and he knew that the auto industry was picking up, and he moved us here to Michigan to better himself for us. He was a very hard worker, but you know what? He was tired of taking other people's baloney, and he put a date on his calendar. In himself, we found out later, he put a date on his calendar, like a year. And in that year, he did his homework on a business. He bought parts for his business to stock up on. He got himself prepared. And on that date, that dot on his calendar, when that date came, he went up to his boss and he said, I quit, I'm out of here. And he started his own truck and trailer business and was extremely successful. And I think he was 64 when he got really successful. He bought his first home at 66 years old and got a 30-year mortgage. And he laughed to practically the end of his life that he was that old. And he says, who would give somebody 65 a 30-year mortgage? And he was just so proud of that. That was the first home that him and my mom ever owned. And he never gave up. I mean, Daddy worked until his last day at the hospital. He delivered parts. When my dad died, he was almost 80. He died in August. He would have been 80 in October. And the last time I took him to the hospital, he turned around and he looked at his house and he got in the car. I was taking him into the hospital, and he just gave me a wink. And he goes, I did good. And so he got in the car, and of course he went in the hospital, and he passed away then. But he worked till the last moment. He was delivering parts the day before to his companies. I mean, he had big companies, so he never gave up. And I think that instilled in me that I just don't give up. I mean, I get up every morning and say, oh boy, thank you. Here I am, another day to breathe. I don't sit there and go, oh God, another day chalked off my calendar to my end. My journey is coming to an end. No, I don't want to know. I don't care. And if I feel that way, I get up and put on a perky blouse and a fancy wig and a lot of makeup, and I go on and take my husband out to breakfast and do what I have to do. And, granted, maybe you don't feel good, maybe you can't get out, but there's something you can do. You're on the computer, you're on the phone, you can do something, find a niche. I mean, if you crochet, if you do something, find something that takes your mind off of things, something that makes you happy. There's gotta be something that makes you happy. I mean, something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can think of a million things that I could be doing that make me happy. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy doing YouTube. You all know it. I'm not in it for the money. I'm just in it to try to help you and have a better life and quality life and be the best that you can be. I'm not really in this, for money. And I'll probably be making money when I'm 106, but then I'll go, what's this? I don't know what to do with this. What is this? But sometimes we're hit too at our age with sickness. I'm blessed so far. I mean, I got aches and pains, yeah, and I get up with a hip and go, and then I go, oh, hi, and I smile it off. I mean, aches and pains are there. I mean, despite, the makeup and everything, your body's, it's your bones are ticking away. But you know, you just can't let that get to you if you're sick. You've got to come up, you know, with a positivity. I mean, yeah, being sick isn't real positive, but you don't have to really be down about it. You never give up and you never give in. You just don't. And I have a friend, I think, Kathy, I should have texted you like I wanted to. I think she's 68. She's my best friend. I should know, right? But anyway, this girl has had atrial fib. She's had 17 conversions, heart conversions. And I think she said 3 or 4 ablations, which is a really delicate procedure of the heart, coded twice on that table. And I'm telling you, we're really good friends, and her emails are her Facebook posts are so positive. She has beautiful daughters. She has a beautiful family. She lives every day. She'll drink, she'll have a drink, she eats, she goes with her friends, they have a cottage. She lives every day to the fullest because she's like, I think the last one, they took out the bottom of her heart. She's got a machine in her that's hooked up to the hospital, and if something happens in the night, they call and she's rushed in. I mean, that's how bad her heart is. But you know what? She don't give up. She won't give in. And she just keeps going. I am so blessed to have her as part of my circle of friends because she's so positive. If you're down, she talks to you, and she's living on a time bomb, I tell her, and she's like, yeah, and I'm gonna live it till it blows, sister. I'm gonna live it till it blows. And she does. And that's the way I guess you've got to approach things, even in sickness. And you know, my husband's dealing with that AFib too, and you know, there's days that, you know, his breathing isn't too great, and he does get scared, and I just take him out to eat, and I go, you know, he'll come up from the basement step, oh, I can't breathe. I go, you know, me either. And he goes, you're raining on my parade. And I go, no, but you know, it's just, you know, there's some things in life that change and you have to accept. You know, you can't run up the steps like you used to, and right away you think, oh my gosh, it's the end. We all breathe heavier when we walk. We all maybe walk a little slower, although I've said in another video, you got to walk faster because, you know, that people know your age. If you walk real slow, you got to pep step it up a little bit. And I've told the story about how slow he is at the grocery store. Oh my God. But you know, you got to change your bodily functions that you do to go with your age and what you can perform, you know, just like exercising, which we'll get into. And I have done a video on exercising. But you know, you can't do the things that you used to, and that's fine. That's okay. You know, don't get down about it, and don't think about bad things that could happen, because they could happen to any of us. And if you think about it, there's days that sometimes I'll think about my kids or my grandkids in this world that we live in today that's crazy. You know, I worry about them. I do worry about them. But you know what? If I do, I get up and I'll take them to lunch, or I'll take them to dinner, or I'll bring them over here and we'll play games, or we'll do something. Anything to try to get rid of that negative thing that will bring us down. So I'm just here today to just try to tell you that, yeah, growing old is a privilege. It is a privilege. And to look the best that you can be is a routine, but it's something that you have to work at if you want to. Looking good makes you feel very positive, I think. Not taking care of yourself outwardly changes how you feel inwardly. It just adds to your feeling of being old. So you've got to take care of yourself outwardly, and of course internally with your food and things. You know, we have to watch, you know, certain things. You know, I remember my mother saying, oh my God, as she's eating an apple, these apples give me such indigestion. And I go, why do you eat them if they give you indigestion? Oh, well, I like them. I'm not gonna go without an apple just because I got indigestion. I'll go take a pill. I go, okay, all right, Mom, whatever. But you know, there's things that you have to change if they bother you, and maybe you get mad about them, but you know, you go according to what's good for your age. And you know, just try to be positive, try to think positive, show people love, call somebody that you haven't called, that you've been meaning to call, that, you know, we're all getting up there in age. Don't, you know, you've heard my story. Don't put off phone calls that you could make today that'll be too late tomorrow. Live for today. Do the things that you want today. You know, my biggest problem with me is my husband brings us coffee every morning. We have our coffee talks every morning, and we have for 45 years. And we sit there, and sometimes we watch our shows in the morning. Sometimes I find myself not getting up and getting ready till like 11 o'clock. And I think that's part of my process now that I'm going to start changing. I'm going to get up and get more motivated. And you can change things that bug you even at this age. You can change. I mean, there's nothing, oh, I can't change now. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. I've been doing it for years. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I mean, you want, you know, like time management even for your house. You know, oh, I can't clean my house like I used to in a day. Yeah, in a day. You know, stretch it out in 3 days. Okay, then at the end of the third day, the first part might be dirty again. You take care of it the next week. I don't know. Figure it out. But you will. You know, and just realize that your body is changing. You're not like you used to be. Your mind is like it used to be, which is great. I mean, your mind should feel like you did when you were in your 25s. That's what keeps you going and motivated and youthful. And, you know, don't be afraid of age, and don't sit back and ruin your life today because you're thinking about death tomorrow, because you weren't given that date. You don't know that date. You could wait, you could live, you know, another 20 years and you'll waste it and shrivel up because you're worried about it. Don't worry about it. Live for today. I want everybody to look in the mirror today and think about yourself first. You know, maybe you want to try a new hairdo. Do it today. Maybe you want to try a new lipstick. Do it today. Maybe you want to crochet like you used to. Go find your needles and go do it today. Maybe you want to take a walk. Go do it today. I mean, don't sit around thinking, oh, maybe tomorrow. I don't feel like it today. Because every day gets worse and worse and worse. So stay active, stay happy, stay positive, show love, take care of yourself, love one another, give love to your grandkids, hang around with young people because they make you feel young and happy. And just enjoy your todays. It's part of your dash. Don't worry about the last date. Enjoy your dash. So I hope that helped. You know, I feel bad for people who take everything, you know, in and show and feel negative. If I could change the world, I would like everybody, I would like a magic wand and have everybody feel positive. And, you know, I realize that some days, you know, you just can't, you know, I mean, maybe, you know, Uncle Edward said something that hurt your feelings. You know, you could take it in and take it personal, or you could just go, well, Uncle Edward's nuts. I don't know. You know, don't take everything personal, and don't let it discourage you, and don't let it change your positivity in life. And with that, and I want to say thank you for coming into my room today, and I want you all to think positive, think happy thoughts, go tell somebody that you love them, cook a good meal tonight. Maybe you know, you're sitting there and maybe you're alone, you know, find a friend, find, you know, somebody to cook for yourself. You know, I think I told you before, my mom always cooked for herself. Even she was alone when my father passed away. I'd, you know, say, what are you doing, Mom? I'm making homemade spaghetti and meatballs. Oh, really? Who's coming for dinner? Nobody. I'm like, oh, okay. Make your life and your dash here on earth worthwhile. So the people that love you, that are part of your family, they'll tell stories about you, and you'll live forever and ever in the hearts and minds of all that cared. So on that, I'm going to leave you. I'll see you again for a couple more videos, but I'll be into part 2 of my series on aging, which will be about body and exercising. You know, we go through a lot of changes, and we just got to embrace those changes, man, and and get ready for the next day. So I'll see you again. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for joining me. I love you guys. Thanks for coming. Thank you, new subscribers, for joining me. Please pass me around. Hit that like button. You can leave a comment. You know I always answer your comments. I'm never too big not to answer your comments. And be sure to give the thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Pass me on to your friends. And till we meet again, I love you. Bye.